Welcome back into the Sports Source, the segment brought to you by Tapoco Lodge. March 15th, folks, 2 weeks. The Lodge will be open for business 7 days a week, the grand reopening for spring and summer and fall. The Tapoco Tavern will be open as well. Great meals with a great view right there. And the weekend of the 23rd, it is a river release weekend. If you've never been up there, never stayed up there, or never eaten up there during that, get up and see it. Tapoco.com is where you can learn more. I've been up there. It's spectacular. You'll love it. It's a great resort. Tapoco Lodge. All right, back with Josh Ward, David Ubb, and Bob Hodge. Let's talk about spring practice, which starts this week. What is the single biggest question mark for the Vols heading into these 15 practice sessions?
I want to see the new guys, the early enrollees. Do they have some stars in this group? You have a lot of guys that have potential. Quavaris Crouch coming in, Ramel Keaton coming in, Eric Gray. You got a lot of guys. Obviously, your tackle, Wanye Morris. They're waiting. Darnell Wright won't be here until the summer, but do you have some stars in this group? Because you look at Tennessee last year, they don't have stars. They don't have guys that are just game changers. And if you know if those guys are going to be game changers, you're going to see it this spring. It's going to show. They're going to make some mistakes. They're going to be a little bit raw, but you're going to see the potential this spring, and you're going to find out real quick.
And this is a team that needs to lean on some of those guys too, especially the offensive linemen. And again, you got one of them in. You got a couple. Jackson Lampley's in too, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got two that you're just waiting on Darnell Wright.
Lampley, I think, is a summer guy.
Yeah. Oh, is he? Okay.
I think Jackson Lowe is coming, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you got some of these guys, but you need these guys on the offensive line to be ready right out of the chute, especially at the tackle positions.
I would
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I would like to see what Chaney and the staff can do with Garantano, because last year coming out of spring practice, it was, well, he's not necessarily the starter. Chris may be the starter, yada yada. If you're coming out of spring practice this year and people aren't really kind of singing some praises about Garantano a little bit, I mean, that's not going to be a good thing. And I think you've got probably about the best quarterback guru you are going to be able to get in here to try to help him.
I just hope he is the guru. I mean, meaning I would have liked to have seen him offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. Nothing against Chris Weinke, and Chaney may be all over it. But I would prefer that title be there on the front of his door rather than just walk around guy.
But I think he's going to walk around and stay in one spot.
I wouldn't hold your breath on a ton of praise, though. I think from this team, I mean, you're not going to hear anybody be referred to as a starter in the spring. That's just the way Pruitt's going to run things. So, I mean, they're probably going to be in the same situation where whether the reality reflects what Pruitt's saying, Garantano, I guarantee you, will not be referred to as a starter. They're going to be, well, we got to get Maurer some reps.
We got to move, guys. Sorry. Next question. I'm going to start with you, Josh. Tennessee last year, you had 7 losses, 5 by 25 or more points. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of holes on this roster last year. So my question, and I may have shut you up so we can sit and stare at each other. Going into spring practice, what is Tennessee's strongest position group?
I don't think there's an obvious choice. I'm going to choose wide receiver, and I'm going to choose wide receiver kind of projecting that Juwan Jennings is back closer to being fully healthy. Marquez Callaway improves. Ramel Keaton, he's on that newcomer list that could make an immediate impact. He's a high school All-American. So I'll say wide receiver.
I would go secondary, because I think you've got talent that not necessarily that's going to be the best position at the end of the year, but I think you got talent there. Maybe raw at the corner position still, but I would go secondary.
I was just going to throw tight ends with Josh and just go receivers.
Yeah, Dominic Wood-Anderson should be a part of that group, sure.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you want to go, because I think you like what you have in Marquez Callaway for sure. You like what you have in Juwan Jennings if he's healthy, but they got to find that number 3 receiver. So you have, when you're talking about elite talent, those are the guys that you really like, but behind them, it's like they don't have really a number 3 guy. But I think when you look at total depth and total talent, I really do like the linebackers. I think they got some criticism last year, but Darrell Taylor, I mean, he's probably your most productive guy on the whole team. And then you have new guys coming in, Quavaris Crouch. We'll see if Jeremy Banks finds a home there. You have J.J. Peterson still kind of waiting on him. And then you've got, still some experienced guys. We'll see what Jordan Allen can offer. We'll see what DeAndre Johnson can offer. So I kind of like that group because they have a lot of guys that can contribute. Darren Kirkland Jr. as well, he's still there. Just so many contributors, and you got a lot of depth there. Maybe it's not quality depth just yet, but it might get there by the time we get to the fall.
You get 20 seconds.
I was about to say, I would agree with you if they'd played better last year, but they didn't play very well. But it points out something. That's the key to everything Tennessee has. Even if you've got some decent starters, that depth has to be It's got to be solidified at some point.
2019 is still a building year.
Sure it is.
There's no question about that at all.
It's a big spring for J.J. Peterson, I think.
To see what he gets.
Yeah.
Very good. David Ubben, thanks for joining us. Look forward to having you as part of our rotation moving forward.
Looking forward to it. Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
very much. When we come back, we got more basketball to discuss. Plenty of it. Come on back on the Sports Week.